Are you call yourself personal development strategist? Tell me more
Yes.
about that. I think it's interesting.
Sure. So I'm actually writing a book for new social workers. So for aspiring, so student social workers and new social workers. So I am um, I have a consultancy business, a coaching and consultancy business, which I am setting up, and it's kind of piecing all together at the moment. And I'm writing a book so that I can help new and aspiring social workers so that they can be very self-aware and use that information in their role. So certainly as a new social worker myself, as I mentioned earlier, there were times when I felt like I was, feeling like, I don't know if I can do this job. I feel quite anxious. Um, and I felt that because I'm quite quiet naturally, and I don't really like conflict. So I could go into somebody's house and say, for example, this isn't anybody real, but say I went into somebody's house and it was not great. So there was rubbish all over the floor. It was disgusting or whatever. So I create this imaginary house. And it was absolutely not okay for a baby to be crawling around in this house. I would really struggle when I first started to know how to say to this parent, your house isn't good enough. You need to sort it out. I would really struggle to say that. I'm a social worker. I'm supposed to be able to tell somebody, let me, your house is not okay. So what I found I would do is I would say, hi, can we have a conversation about what the reason is for this, for your property looking like this? What is stopping you from making it look better? What are the challenges? So I would have that conversation. But the messages that I was getting from my managers, for example, would say to me that I need to go in there and say, nope, your house is disgusting. You need to fix it. I'm coming back tomorrow. If it's not done, then there's going to be a problem. Not that I'm coming to take away your children, because that's not what we do, people. We do not take away children.
Please
It is
say that clearly.
we do not take, a social worker does not have the power to remove anybody's child. Like, please, we don't. There's only two people that can do that, the police and the court. Social workers have no power in that sense.
But you do
Anyways, rant over.
influence it, right? You do influence
Oh,
that.
absolutely. We can certainly contribute to the decision, but we cannot physically go into someone. That's kidnap. If I went to somebody's house and took their child, it's completely kidnapped. But anyway, I digress. um, so so I would find it really hard. Like I would find it really hard to be very direct in that sense. And so, but I felt like I had managers that were saying, well, did you tell them that it wasn't good enough? And what was their response? And how are they going to fix it? And I felt like I was fluffy. So when I'm talking to people, I felt like I was just kind of maybe dancing around the issue. I was telling them, but it was kind of felt like I wasn't like direct, because I wasn't bang, it was a problem. And then as I continued with my career, I just kind of found my way in terms of how I interact with people. And I'm very much a person of being respectful. So I will always talk to somebody with respect. I will listen to what their views are. I try not to be as judgmental, although it's, with the social work out, you kind of have to be. But I try not to be judgmental of their circumstances of where they're coming. I'm quite curious about how and why they've got there, be that because of their own childhood experiences or the circumstances or whatever. I've got quite a curious mind like that. So that's something that I definitely would always do. And I tell, when I was within the space in statutory social work with my students, I would say to them, in the whole of my career, um, I've never been attacked. I've never been threatened. And it's not because I don't know how to deliver a difficult message. I think it's just because I know how to talk to people in a way that they can receive my message to them. I've said to somebody that their child may have to go up for adoption because they're not in a space right now where they can give the child what they need. I've been able to say things like that and have it heard. They may not have liked it. They probably were really angry and went off and just was obviously devastated by that information. But to me, directly as a human, I've never felt threatened by anybody. And I genuinely believe it's because of the way that I have respect for other people. So certainly me writing this book is helping those new social workers to understand themselves, know that it's okay if you don't if you feel a bit nervous about conflict. It's okay if you, or if even in the opposite, you are a person that does like to go indirect, but then you have a feedback that's then worrying to you, or you think, oh, I maybe need to adjust the way that I'm speaking or how I'm interacting. It's about helping people to really understand what their default is, and then move forward in their power with regards to that. So if you're a person that really likes to motivate other people, move forward with that, use that. If you're a person who likes the details, that's me. If you like the details of things, you want to analyze information, you're curious, you want to know why, you want to know why, then understand why. Your analysis is going to be amazing when you go into working with these families and thinking about why certain things are happening. If you're a person that just likes results, you're going to go in, you're going to see the problem, you're going to be quick thinking, you're going to be like, right, this is what needs to happen and this is how we can manage it. I don't really know the details, but this is what needs to happen going forward. Move with that power. If you're a person that knows that this person, just the family needs to be listened to, if they've just had all of so much stress over them and they just need to be listened to, if your superpower is about listening and patience and providing that nurturing to them, lean into that. And it's just knowing where you fit, but also knowing when the time is right for you to use other parts of you so that you can get the job done. So that's essentially what I do for the new social workers that I was supporting previously up until late last year, and now that's what I'm going to be doing through the book and the coaching that I'm developing at the moment. So yeah, so that's me.
Beautiful, Nadine. That is really beautiful. All right, now that move on to another part of the conversation that we are having today, which is about excellence, because it's part of your coaching program, no?
Yes.
How do people develop excellence? What does it even mean, excellence? Can you help us with your own description of excellence?
Sure. So I think there's 4 parts to excellence for me personally. So the first part, which I've kind of alluded to a few times, is knowing yourself, knowing who you are as a human, knowing who you are as an individual. So not only your communication styles and your behavior, but also something called intersectionality, which is devised by a lady called Miss Crenshaw, sorry, brain went for a second, Kimberly Crenshaw. And she devised this term that thinks about all of the different aspects of ourselves. So there's quite a few, so I'm going to try and remember some of them. So that's our age, our race, ethnicity, culture, religion, spirituality, geography, language, gender, sexuality, sexual identity. I think there's a few more, but I can't remember them all. But just kind of grounding yourself and knowing who you are as a human. So, and what is important to you, what shows up for you. So for me, what shows up for me is that I'm a Black female. 100%. I don't have any disabilities, so to speak. I do have some chronic conditions, but I don't have any disabilities. I'm 43 years old. So that's what's relevant for me. For somebody else, it may be that they have a disability. It may be that their sexuality is something that comes to the forefront of them. That's their kind of biggest context. So understanding yourself as a human is incredibly important because it impacts how you show up in different circumstances. And then linked to that is around authenticity. Are you able to be you, whoever you are? One, do you know who you are? And are you able to be you? So certainly a big reason why I moved over here, and I didn't even realize how much I needed to be in the Caribbean with people that looked like me until I got here. I did some courses back in the UK around being Black in the UK and leadership styles and connecting with your ancestry and who you are as a Black person, or who I am as a Black person, I should say. I'm so sorry. I don't know if you can hear the rain. It's now just...
No. It's
okay,
noise.
Perfect.
It's raining. There is God in the rain.
It's just started to come down like a shower outside. So it's pretty loud. So I'm glad you can't hear it.
If you enjoy this podcast, make sure you subscribe so you never miss any of our future episodes. Rate and review Obehi Podcast and share with your friends who might need it. I remain Obehi Ewafo. Thank you so much for listening, and talk to you in the next episode.